Me too. Hi, Sna. Hello. Hello, beautiful people. Hello, it's just me today. Mama's watching me start the stream because she wants me to be excited and crazy. Okay, Zina, come say hello. You want to say hello? Debbie wants to say hello.
Go back. You took it and he's gonna. What are you doing?
Can you stop complaining? Okay, Debbie, say hello. There's Debbie. Okay. Zina, stop bugging him. Zina, come here. Okay, Debbie, sit. Let's Debbie, sit. Okay, Debbie, go over here. Debbie, go over here. Zina, come here. Zina, come here. Zina, come here. Zina.
The stream is not about to go.
Whatever. Anyway, Zina is too busy playing. Cause she's just like somebody I know. I mean, you know, they say the dogs are like their owners. And Zina, my mom is Zina's owner, so. Yeah. So this mic is. What is this? Is this music? Oh, this is a mic. What the hell? Hello.
No, everything is working.
I don't know. Okay, see, now it's not too loud. Now it's not gonna, you know, like hurt people's ears. Okay, so hello. I wanted to talk about my seizures, about my life before. Hello, whoever just joined. Today I'm talking.
Did you change the volume?
I changed the mic volume because it's going into yellow, and let me just talk, okay? I know how to do the stream. So, my life before I started having seizures, during the time that I was having seizures, and now is after the time, like after I started to get, after I got my seizures under control. So, whoever it is, whether you're lurking or if you want to say hi, you know, feel free. I also stream on Twitch, Virginia DG, twitch.tv/Virginia DG. I stream regularly over there if you want to check me out. But here I will be streaming Monday, Wednesday, and Friday just by myself. And my mom will be streaming the other days. So before my seizures started, I had many ambitions. One of the biggest ones was to be an actress. I mean, the one time that I had a shot to like audition to like get a good casting company, I was very shy, and we were supposed to like do a table read of a commercial, and I was way too shy to even try that out, which was unfortunate because I mean I could be a celebrity right now, but oh well. I don't regret it because I learned a lot of things. I think that if I became a celebrity at a really young age, I would not have been so humbled by my life. I definitely learned a lot through all the things that I've been through. I've had a lot of struggles, even before my seizures started. I would say that, there would be different struggles if I did become an actress. It would probably weigh a lot more on my mental health, considering what, you know, actors and actresses say about the industry, what their experiences, like being child actors and stuff. But yeah, and then at some point I decided it was just before I started having seizures. I was in middle school, and I decided, like, I was watching CSI like nonstop, and I decided that, you know what, I want to be a CSI. Like, it's not as glamorous as they show you in the TV show, obviously, because you have to wear a full bodysuit so you don't compromise evidence. But um that was one of my ambitions. My whole like thing was like, I'm gonna, you know, work so hard in school, I'm gonna ace everything, and I'm gonna be so smart that I'm gonna get like a student visa. I'm gonna go to like UCLA and everything, study there, study criminology over there, and I was very excited. Um, aside from my ambitions, I mean, I had friends. Um, I wouldn't say that I had like constant friends. I had some really good friends. I definitely throughout the years I had some friends that I realized were not real friends. Uh, just because of certain things that they would do, they would, you know, put the blame on me for something that they decided to do that I advised them against, and they would blame me. I would end up not being able to hang out with them anymore because their parents thought I was a bad influence, which was ridiculous. Um, because it was always the other way around. So, um, yeah, I think for me, before seizures, I definitely had, well, throughout my life, I had struggles. Uh, all different sorts of struggles. And I, I had, I think, a lot more hope before I started having seizures. I had a lot more options about what I could do with my life. I had a lot more, like, it was like I could choose anything. I could choose absolutely anything. If I wanted to go in the military, I could go in the military. Um, but obviously, having epilepsy, that's not an option. Even even now that the seizures are, I don't know what the situation is. Like, I'm not saying I want to go into the military, but I'm saying that, like, uh, you know, even now that my seizures are controlled, I don't think me having a history of seizures would like allow me, even though they're controlled, that they would allow me to enter into the military. So like, even now that the seizures have stopped, I don't have like as many options as I would have if I never had seizures. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of struggle in home life, a lot of confusion, a lot of miscommunication in the family. So that created um a lot of struggle in our in living. Um there were certain things that happened, like, I'm sure I've talked about it before on other streams. But yeah, there were certain things that happened in my life that um I couldn't be protected from, that just happened because of, you know, the world is not all sunshines, rainbows, and pretty daisies and stuff. The world can be a vicious, it can be a great place for when with great people, but it can also be hell on earth, and that's before I even started having seizures. I didn't get a lot of sleep because of those things that happened. Um, Specifically, one thing, I didn't get a lot of sleep throughout my childhood because I didn't want to. I had nightmares, so I didn't want to go to sleep. It is a possibility that that was a contributing factor to what triggered my seizures to start when I became 13. Um, it was like I was almost 14 when my seizures started. I mean, I was still 13. Um, but I think that could have been a contributing factor, and a lot of stress. Stress was always a trigger for my seizures. So the fact that I was always stressed out about the certain thing, and I I kept it all to myself. That's that's why I say when you have an issue, like even if you don't think you have an issue, but there's always things, you have situations where like people are trying to help you, and you're getting in a position where you feel like you're being attacked, but like they're just trying to help you. That's that's a that's a defense mechanism that you probably don't even realize. Like, therapy is so important. I went through therapy, and I wouldn't change it for the world, because it helped me through a lot of my issues. um I mean, I'm not perfect. I still have issues today, like I'm just a person, you know. I definitely would say therapy for anybody struggling with anything, no matter what it is, or even if you don't think you're struggling. Therapy, great, because there are people that they think like they have the best life and whatever, but they're still not happy. You know, there's always something that, so it's always good to have somebody to talk to. Whether it's a friend that's willing to listen, uh a friend that's willing to listen and give advice, or like, help out in some sort of way. um it's always great. So before seizures, life was complicated, but I had a lot more options on what I could grow up to be. I had a lot more ambition. I had a lot more, like, my hope was like through the roof, of like, like, oh my god, this big world that I could do whatever. It's like the American dream idea, kind of, but Canadian. And better because free healthcare. Uh but yeah, so when I started having seizures, another thing, I was very active when I was a kid. I'm sure I played video games. I still play video games. I was always been in love with video games. Um I was definitely so much more active. Um I I remember like even doing track at some point, I think in grade 6. Um and and then we had to move, so like I couldn't do it anymore. And yeah, like I was so active. I was strong. I was a tiny kid, but I was strong. Like stronger than some of the boys. Like most of the boys, actually. Yeah, so I definitely had a shift when I started having seizures, because when I was 13, almost 14, I remember very specifically. It was the last Saturday in May when I was 13, and I was headed on. Well, this is the first seizure that I'm aware of. Okay. Um, I was on my way. It was a really hot day. I was on my way to go to the community center so I could go for the taekwondo class over there. And I just remember walking out the door. Um I locked the door. I turned around. all I saw was like the bright light, and then I blacked out. And then I remember, hi Sophie. Yeah, long time no see. Today I'm talking about life before, during, and after seizures. So right now I'm onto the during. I'm starting the during part. So um yeah, when I had my first seizure, I was blacked out. I wasn't able to get up when I got out of the seizure. I was still kind of groggy for like the next hour or so. My mom had no idea what it was when she finally found me. I was trying to call for help when I was on the ground, and um and then I could understand that it wasn't coming out as like words. So I started banging on the door. Eventually my mom opened the door. I think I had to crawl to my room to get on my bed. And like I was trying to tell my mom that I wasn't feeling good. In my head, my words were fine. Like I could speak like in my mind, fine, just fine. But what came out just sounded like gibberish. And then when I was so frustrated, I like tried to write it down. It came out as scribbles, and I got even more frustrated and started crying. My Because I was always such an actress, in my childhood my mom thought I was like playing a prank or something on her. And eventually she realized that, because she didn't see the seizure, so eventually she realized that something was really wrong. She called the ambulance. And I don't know if they exactly said that I had a seizure, but I know I didn't get diagnosed with epilepsy until like the next year, or year and a half actually. It was already like the end of the school year when, or after the end of the school year when they finally diagnosed me. Hi, Craig. Two seizures in the last couple of weeks. Wow. Is that normal? Is that less? Is that more? Let me know how that's going. Um, so I mean, most of my teenage years were spent in hospitals, getting poked and prodded, and all these tests. And nobody could find a reason why I just started having seizures, because sometimes seizures, they come from malformations in the brain, tumors. It could just be like, um it could it could just be like a genetic thing, or like there was no like noticeable reason why my seizures just started to randomly uh start when I was 13. I had a theory that, like, it's probably in my genes, on my father's side, and that's because I was always a late bloomer, that they started when I was 13, almost 14, because that's like when the hormones started to change. And um I still have a theory that, like, if I eventually gradually stop medication, that like I might be okay without seizures, but I don't want to take that chance. Um uh but like, because the brain stops developing at 25. So you're an adult at 18 legally, but the brain stops developing at 25, and I've always been a late bloomer, and my seizures didn't stop until I was 27. The last seizure I had was October 2020. So, um, yeah, I definitely had to go through a lot. Like I said, in and out of hospitals, throughout my teenage years. A lot of seizures. I had a lot of problems at school with focusing, because my mind was always so foggy. All the different medications they were putting me on, it it wasn't I wasn't able to focus. I wasn't able to comprehend the lessons. like I was able to before I started having seizures. Like even um I don't know, maybe it was the initial hit on my head from the first seizure that messed up my brain or something, but I did love math before I started having seizures. It was so easy to me. And then after that, it was a whole different language, like in a different alphabet as well. So I couldn't understand anything. And then when it got way worse in high school when they started adding an alphabet to math, and I was like, this is an alien language to me. Um like it I I don't know if I should describe it as like somebody experiencing dyslexia, but it from what I've heard of somebody explaining dyslexia, that's what it felt like to me. I'd even have I I wouldn't have like dyslexia like I in like English class or anything or any of the other classes. I still struggled with like focus, but well, not really focus. I struggled with like comprehension a little bit. I was able to focus for sure. But I did have a lot of seizures triggered in math class because I was so stressed out that I couldn't understand anything. And it didn't help that I had teachers that I did have a few teachers that tried to help me understand. But a few teachers were just like the way they explained the math problem was literally just saying the math problem, and I was like, well, can you like give me a real life example, because like that would help me understand better, because I've always been very practical. um you mean what happened in the second seizure? What are you talking about? I'm talking about the first seizure. I was talking about the first seizure. I never mentioned the second seizure. Second seizure, I think I was in a pool. I was in a pool with my friends, and yeah, that's why I think that we didn't know it was a seizure until the second time I had a seizure, because I was in pool with my friends and I had blacked out while I was in the pool. Somehow I was still afloat. I was able to even get out of the water and change and get to my friend's place. Um and I was blacked out this entire time. The last thing I remember, I was in the pool swimming. The next thing I remember, I'm laying down on their couch in like dry clothes, and like because my friend's aunt was a nurse, or is a nurse. She was able to say, you had a seizure, because she knew what it was. She saw for herself like this type of seizure. I don't think it was a grand mal, because I wouldn't have stayed afloat in the water. I think it was like an absence seizure of some sorts. But it's unusual me for my first one. Oh, you're asking. Oh, mom, you're asking the about the second seizure. Okay. I was declared seizure free at 13, taken off meds. One person's end is another's start. I will say that after my dad died, I was in dissociative state, and that's why I was active on your channel. Oh, the loss of a parent can be traumatic. Yes, I do agree. Um, I remember when it wasn't even technically my own grandmother, but I grew up with her. It was because my sister and I have different fathers. It was her grandmother on her father's side. So, like, I grew up with her, and when I was at her funeral, I had a seizure because I was so distraught and so upset, like it was just a trigger for me, all that stress, and it just triggered a seizure. Um, and and she wasn't even like blood relative, she was she was somebody, she was for all intents and purposes, she was my grandmother. I saw her as my grandmother. um I was on my way back from soccer refereeing, but I had taken my medication all week. uh Yeah, I think, Craig, that maybe you overexhausted yourself, or maybe I don't know where you live, but maybe it was just like really bright outside and or really hot, and maybe, I mean, it would could have been combined with exhaustion and like overheating. That's a big thing. Um, so yeah. Um, I I ended up not being able to even finish high school because of my struggles with math. Grade 11 math, calculus is the last requirement for math. And the last class that I requirement that I have um that I had to do. I mean, I could always, you know, go back and just finish just to get my diploma. Um but it was always a struggle, and I tried, like, for like 2 years after I was supposed to graduate. I tried going back and doing the math class, and I still had so much struggle, and I couldn't, I just couldn't do it. I kept failing, and it was so frustrating, and so I just um ended up not doing it. Like, not finishing. Just giving up. And at that point, I was having a lot more frequent seizures. And hi, Mikubi. Um, yeah, I had a lot more frequent seizures. They started to progress. Um, I think with all the different medications, that's, the neurologists, the pediatric neurologists, and like eventually once I got older, the regular like adult neurologists, they were basically experimenting, which medication works. And obviously, since my seizures only stopped happening in 2020, none of those medications worked uh, throughout all those years. So it was a lot of trial and error. As you all know who have seizures, it's a lot of trial and error. And yeah, it was very stressful. At some point, I just didn't really have a lot of ambition. I still had an ambition to kind of make a name for myself, be like a YouTube star, and because I always loved entertaining people. It's not just like I love making people laugh. That's one of the things. But like, it was entertaining people always made me feel good, because I knew that if I was entertaining people, I would make them feel good. And if they laughed, then like I made their day better. Or if they were having a hard time, then it was a distraction for them. And even to this day, that's why I still I'm not so much on YouTube, but I will be getting back on that grind with YouTube. Um but I'm more on Twitch regularly, and Twitch for me is great because I can live stream. It's a platform for live streaming. I can get to meet new people uh all over the world, and have conversations, create a community, and play games or do whatever during my stream. And and it's entertaining, and it's a good distraction from whatever life is going on, especially now, during these hard times. Um, but it's definitely uh is definitely a big change. I wouldn't. It's a progression from what it used to be. Um, I Even though I'm seizure free, I'm dealing with my other disabilities and memories. Still see flashes. Yeah, I know um. Yeah, insomnia is a big thing to. Devi, what are you doing? Devi, get out of there. Devi, Zena, out, 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 out. Okay. So, yeah. Um, because I had such like a brain fog throughout my teenage years, there was a lot of miscommunication with friends that I had because like there were certain things that like at some points in my head I said them, like I had thought that I said them out loud, and then I continued the sentence, and it would, without the context of the first part of the sentence, the second part of the sentence that I actually said out loud, it made it seem like a totally different thing. So there was like so much confusion a lot of the time, and my adult life, I had to start my adult life being on disability, and one thing I never wanted was to have to be on disability. Um and of course I had to be. Um and it's I always felt like somebody deserved it more. Well, good for you, Makubi. I always felt like somebody deserved to have that disability income more than me. Um and like now I have that opportunity. But I spent so many years stuck having to live like that and struggling so much because things are not cheap. Um so living comfortably, like living in a livable space has always been difficult. Um um yeah, so it's just been stressful um throughout the years, and I've had so many injuries, like countless injuries, countless scars that I have now. And um I know some people, they don't like their scars, even if it's a stretch mark, they don't like the stretch marks. For me personally, I wear them proudly, even if they're stretch marks, because it's a scar. It shows where you've been. It shows what you've accomplished, what you've been through, something that you've pulled through that made you stronger. That made you better, healthier. Like with stretch marks, it shows that you've lost weight. You got yourself into better shape, and you're all the better for it. So regardless, like scars from my seizures, scars from losing weight, scars from injuries, is I would not want to go through the pain again. That's for sure. But now it's it's something that I've learned throughout the years. HS. What is HS? Um, you don't have a story. You're not a writer. No, because we're talking about seizures here. So your your epilepsy story. That is what my mom is referring to. So it took breaking my ankle to finally get, was it after okay, so I broke my ankle in May 2019, and I got surgery. Recovering from that surgery at home, I broke two toes on my other foot, so I ended up having to go back to the hospital. I didn't need to get surgery on that. They just put me in like a whatever, so that it can heal. Because my toes were fine, whatever. Um, but so I had to stay in the hospital for months, and to recover, to be able to walk again. And it was so frustrating, and like not so many things that I couldn't do, and it was just so stressful. I spent time in the epilepsy monitoring unit, and um I just like I went for physio afterwards, after I was able to start walking again. Um like, I mean, they started physio, like I had nurses helping me to like try to walk again once I was healed enough. Um but yeah, what Makubi, what is HS? Um you can type it out while I'm talking. Um yeah. So it took me having these breaks for them to for somebody who actually had experience in the epilepsy monitoring unit before I was admitted to it for the second time, mind you. Um and they finally gave me a medication that helped. I mean, while I was in the EMU, I wasn't on the medication because they wanted to see what kind of seizures I had, and that's when I found out I was having sleeping seizures as well. Nocturnal seizures, that's what they're called. And it's crazy that like I had all these types of seizures. They progressed to like not just grand mal at the beginning, but like, I mean, I'm pretty sure the second seizure I had was an absence. But like I started having like twitches, and like I had more absent seizures, I had tonic clonics, I had tonic seizures, I had partial seizures. Like it was just so mind blowing, like how it evolved, but also so stressful because like I couldn't do anything for myself. I would cook myself like some dinner, and then I'd have a little twitch in my arm because of a little seizure, and then food would be going flying everywhere, and then I get so frustrated to the point where I'm like, I don't care. I'm picking this food off the floor, put it in the back of my plate, and I'm gonna eat it because I took so much time preparing this food. I'm gonna eat it anyway, and I have dogs, so we have hair on the floor sometimes. But I mean, at that point, I was like definitely good about sweeping and mopping like every day, so there wasn't that much hair in the food. Um, but it was very stressful. And breaking these bones, it's definitely put me back in my like fitness. The seizures themselves throughout the years, all these injuries, recovering from them, it's um recovering kept me bedridden, like in the recovery stage from all these minor injuries, but only for like a day. And I would still be able to, go and do some stuff. But
Makuba wants the knife to know the right. How did you say it? Makuba?
is it Makube or Makubi?
Makuba.
Or Makub? I'll just call you Mac. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry about that. Um, and oh, um, and I'm sorry that you have to deal with Blount's disease. That's unfortunate. Uh, yeah. So sorry. Even now, I have some brain fog because I'm on antibiotics. So it's like I'm up for 4 hours, and I already want to have like another like full night of sleep. It's exhausting. Um, so after all these breaks, I spent months in the hospital, and then a year later, I Max. Okay, cool. A year later, I got the hardware out of my ankle. So the seal plate and the 9 screws, I got them. I got them out of. Um, I got surgery to get them out a year after, once my bones were healed, and I oh, my brain. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time bedridden for like those 2 years, and trying to kind of relearn how to walk throughout both things, through both situations, and it's definitely frustrating, and I already wasn't at like the most optimal fitness level. But I was still able to do things. I didn't have as much pain, but being bedridden for so long, it caused more problems. Um, and I have PCOS, so being bedridden, it's created more problems because I gained weight. Even if it was a little bit, it it's not good. Um, because it created more cysts. My body, because I wasn't moving, I wasn't actively like going out and walking around and doing things, and running errands and such. My body was just stagnant, and the cysts just kept coming and coming and coming and not bursting and getting bigger and bigger. And even now, like, they cause so much pain in my lower back, and even gives me migraines because they press on the sciatic nerve. Um, and yeah, so like it took breaks for me for them to finally find a medication that helped me. Um, and then so after the second surgery, a couple months later after that, that's when I had my last seizure. So now I'm seizure free. After the seizures, I have all these options open. Still not as many as I would have had if I didn't have seizures beforehand. Let me just read this for a second. To add to the list, according to the doctor, said my arches have collapsed, so I have flat P. Also, X-rays show arthritis. When I was asked to stand facing away from the doctor, yeah, um, I have inverted arches. Um, so I don't have collapse. I don't think you would consider them collapse because they've always been this way. So instead of having an arch like this, my arch is like this. Um, yeah, so then my knees, instead of being straight, my thighs go like inward kind of, and then my calves kind of go out. And that's not how they should be. They should actually be like kind of nah, you know what I mean? Because their thighs, they're supposed to go kind of out. um, it was noted that Achilles tendon was twisted. Oh my lord. I was asked if I was in pain, and I said I was not, and that is true. I'm not aware of what happens to my feet. Oh my lord. P.S. I should mention it is possible that the Dipakori? Dipakore I was on to treat my seizures, age 5 to 13, may have affected my bone development, causing different issues. Yes, that's, they definitely recommend taking calcium when um, when you take anti-epileptic medications, because I had the same problem. Like, when they saw the fracture, it was actually my mom that told me that the doctor told her that when they looked at my bone wasn't as dense as it should be. It was like the opposite. Um, and I think that's a lot of years because I thought I was fine. I thought I had strong bones, whatever. Because so many years that I was drinking milk thinking, oh my god, I'm getting so much calcium. And turns out I pretty much have bones of an 80-year-old woman, and that has osteoporosis. So yeah, that's not good. So looks like milk didn't give me enough calcium, and so I'm vegan. I mean, that's not the reason, like, but I mean, seizures kind of are the reason that I'm vegan, but let's not go into that right now. Think you're caught up. Sophie, you're the bomb. Yes, you are the bomb, Sophie. Share my experience to spread awareness, but no, not everyone will like me or Regina. Yes, absolutely. Not everybody's the same. I think we'll draw a book. Do you watch wrestling? I don't watch wrestling. Sorry. Uh, yes, like I said, Mom, the doctor, when I mentioned that I have the bones of an 80-year-old woman, that's kind of the same thing as saying I have elderly people bones. I mean, osteoporosis runs in the family anyway, so the fact that like it's already starting this early, um, especially because of the medications, causing it to like start sooner. It was yes, Mama. I know, Mama. Um, but I don't think I was ever on calcium. I think I was on calcium supplements for like a short while. But that was because there was one medication that had like a significant uh side effect of like decreasing calcium, whatever. Um, but um dark dark uh green leafy vegetables are great for, I mean, vegetables in general have great vitamins. Dark leafy vegetables are great for calcium. Broccoli has a lot of calcium in it. Cauliflower as well. Um should watch wrestling. You would enjoy it. May help with the seizures. I don't know. No, I've watched wrestling before, and it's not my cup of tea. Um, you had a seizure 2 weeks ago. Damn. Um, but yeah, I hope you're okay. Um, yeah. So now that I don't have seizures, I'm able to work more, like take care of dogs, uh, to get more income. I'm on the path of uh living independently, so I'm planning to move out on my own at the end of August. Uh, so I'm working towards that. I'm doing a security course so I can get a security job, get good pay, so I can afford to live on my own. Because the bird gotta fly the nest sometime. And I need my own space. Because I've haven't had that opportunity. I had that opportunity at one point, but I still had seizures, so it was very short lived. I hadn't had like fully independent uh experience, and I think for me that's very important to me. I need my space. So that's the plan for now. Um I and so now I can focus more on streaming, and as well as like when I'm not working I can do streaming, and when I'm working, then that's like I the working will help to be um sufficient for me to be living independently, and then streaming I can build up, because I don't want to be a security guard forever. So over time I'll be building up streaming, building up Twitch, so that I can get to a point where that will exceed whatever income that I'm getting from the security job. I'll have money to save and be live comfortably in a place that's not always breaking down, where they have emergency water shutdowns for whatever reason, where there's one washer and dryer per floor, and only one washer and one dryer in the whole building work. Um, and I mean, I definitely have more ambition now, because I see a future where I can, you know, live independently, and, you know, feel free, and be able to like do things for myself. That was always something that was in my soul, that like I always felt like, I preferred more to earn what I had, because it meant so much more to me, because somebody just giving me something for no reason, it always felt weird. Like it didn't, like, getting disability income, I it's not it always felt wrong to me for some reason. And it's just because, I don't know, like, I guess I could put it in the words of like handout or something. Like, I would want to earn. I'm definitely stubborn, like my father, in that way, that always wanting to earn our money, and because that made it worth more. It made it that much more special. It made it that much more um valuable. Um and because it's also a good feeling that you did all this hard work and you get rewarded with money, because you did this hard work, and it gives you more ambition to work harder and work harder. And and it's a great feeling, and it's just an endless cycle of just like, you improving and growing, and just feeling great about what you're doing, and taking the next steps, and evolving. It's a beautiful thing to me, and I'm able to do that now. And so it excites me. Obviously, you can see that, but yeah, it's an amazing thing to have that freedom now. Um, Still, I'm not at the financial stability that I want to be to move out, but like I said, I'm working on that, and working on getting a security job. Um, Hopefully within the next month, so that I have money to save. Um, um, until the time where I'm gonna be moving on my own. And I'm also gonna be working very hard on Twitch as well, and streaming a lot more and a lot longer on the days that I have free, because like that, I want to grow that community. I want to be able to talk with people more. That's my space. It's is like, this space is great, but like for me, it's something that I created. It's something that I made blossom, if that makes sense. Um, was mentally abused by an elementary coach from ages 5 to 7. Then that one story of the guy at summer school wrapping my sweater around me. My then boyfriend did something, and my dad dying. Oh wow. Serious about the wrestling. Been watching for 2 weeks. It won't help with the epilepsy. Why won't wrestling work? But back, go watch wrestling. Oh my god. Again, I am now dealing with the emotional and physical side effects of all of my conditions and losses. Yeah, Mom, wrestling is, in my opinion, wrestling is scripted. MMA is not, because it's actual fighting. Um, so, um, but yeah, I think because it's wrestling is aggressive, that's probably why it's not helping with your seizures, Max. Um, because it's probably triggering more seizures. Because the aggression triggers stress. Even if you're just watching it, and stress triggers seizures. So yeah, that's probably a reason. On the plus side, I have been learning 3 languages via Duolingo. Ooh, which 3 languages? I've been trying to focus on Spanish. I'm trying to do one at a time, because like, my mind, I've gotten to the point where because I've been learning every day, sometimes I'm even thinking in Spanish sometimes. So that's a new, like, kind of cool development. I've been able to learn Spanish. I've already put a bunch of languages on my list that I want to learn, and on Duolingo. And I definitely think French is gonna be my next one, just because we're in Canada. And then Polish, and then German. Um, yeah, and I have a bunch of others, but I mean, those are like the main ones. I think um I may even learn Irish, because I have family that lives in Ireland. They're Polish, but I mean, I want to eventually go and explore Ireland. Uh, and like, it would be cool to be able to speak it. Like, because I know there's some places where they speak like the original, like, Gaelic. Um, so that would be really cool. Um, yeah, yeah, I just mentioned that one. um, but yeah, sorry, my back hurts. Gotta love having PCOS. But yeah, now I definitely have more options on what to do with my life. Uh, or, rather, options to get where I want to be in my life. And not feel like a sitting duck. Not feel, because a lot of the feelings I had while having seizures, I felt useless. I felt a lot of negative emotions, because I couldn't do things. I just for me, like I said, for me, earning my own income is like it's almost like it's a reward. Like you earn your own income, you did all this hard work. It's like when you uh clean your room, when or wash your clothes, and you like you've done your laundry, wash all the sheets, and then you take a shower, and then you lay down on the clean sheets, and it's like all fresh. You're fresh, the sheets are fresh, the pillow's fresh. Like it feels so great, and it's such a great reward. It's such a great feeling, and that's what it's like to me. It's like to be able to see what's the phrase, the fruits of your labor. That's what it is for me. It's like to plant a tree to help it grow, and then you see these beautiful, amazing, juicy, crunchy apples that are so like mouth watering, because of all of these years that you've taken care of this tree. That's what I mean. Like it's just it it's the idea, the the fact that I have hope again, because I I have also, like, I'm also grateful for having seizures because it's given me a way to do what I initially wanted to do, to evolve to a point where I can do what I initially wanted to do, which is entertain people, and like from my own like kind of business, in a sense, because I mean, once you make a certain amount of Twitch, you have to declare it as like your own business. But it's it's a beautiful thing because now I know that I have this option. I have a means to get to where I want to be now. And it's it's just like, honestly, it's just an amazing thing to me, and I'm excited to um I'm excited. I'm excited to move forward and see what happens next. And definitely I can work on my health a lot better now. I can work on my fitness. Let me just, I'm thirsty. Um Told you I was thirsty. I can definitely work on my fitness, which has been on the back burner for God, I had my first seizure when I was 13, so 15 years? Yeah, 15 years. It's been on the back burner for 15 years. Um, so I can finally, help myself get better, uh, feel better, because honestly, I feel I'm 28. I'm almost 29. And my bones, the doctor said my bones were like an old lady's bones. And honestly, I feel like an old lady. And I'm trying to get to a place in my fitness level where I can feel at least my age. Okay? Because I should be having so much more energy as a 28-year-old. I should be able to move without pain because, girl, I'm 28. Like, I shouldn't be having pain in all these places. Like, I shouldn't be having back problems already. I I know it's because of my condition with PCOS, but the getting to a better fitness level will help to manage the PCOS. So there's like a bright side, a light at the end of the tunnel in that situation. And so that's something I'm going to be working on. I'm lucky enough that there are affordable options for gyms that I can go to, because I'm in my situation. There's a lot of HIIT training, HIIT, high intensity interval training, um, is recommended for women with PCOS. Or I should say people, because some people are non-binary. But that will help me to not only get stronger, get fitter, and feel better. Well, I mean, feeling better is ultimately the goal. Um, that is the reason that I want to do it. Like, I have no issues with the way my body looks. Um, I just want to be fit. I want to be able to do things without being in pain. That's my goal. I want to be able to freely be able to, go and spend a night out, or with my friends, or go to a gathering, rather, because I'm not much of a club person. Uh, go to like a party that my friends are having for like a birthday or something, and be able to spend time without having to, like, think about any pain, without, like, just like holding my back, because, like, oh, I feel like an old lady. You know what I mean? And so I want to get to that point, and hopefully my mother will be there with me. The next week we're gonna do a tour of, or rather this week we're gonna do a tour of the gym. I was already thinking it was like before the for some reason before the weekend, before the long weekend, but it's already after the long weekend. But yeah, so we're gonna do a tour this week and start going to the gym. They have a bunch of different amenities that will help us with recovery from exercise as well. It'll help my mom get healthier, me get healthier, and overall, just better health is the goal. Um, yeah, that's all I can say. Your grandfather was bilingual in English and Irish. Ooh, very nice. You now write in Irish and English as way to practice. But first, since Dad taught Latin to high schoolers, I did not understand how to use Duo. Then I learned Irish, still learning. Now I'm learning Scottish Gaelic, which is relative of Irish. Yes, there's Irish Gaelic, there's Scottish Gaelic. Um, wait, there's Scottish Gaelic on Duolingo? I only saw Irish, but okay. Um, yeah, that's really cool. That's yeah. So with the free time I have now, I do the course, the security course that I'm working on. I walk dogs so I can save some money. I I read a couple hours a day, literally a couple hours, 2 hours a day, on my phone. They're just fantasy stories, but it's like it's a way to escape, but also to reading is good for your brain. It's a good exercise. It's like when they what's they say? What's the thing? When they say it's mental stimulation. There you go. And I mean, because I don't pay for Duolingo, I don't have unlimited hearts, and you know the whole thing with the hearts. So I will do Duolingo for hours until I am done with all the hearts, and then I'll come back the next day, when the hearts are like filled up again, and they'll do it all again until hearts are gone. And I mean, sometimes some of the lessons that's that happens pretty quickly, but I try not to mess up. I try to learn yeah, some of the newer lessons that's been happening. But yeah, it's fun to learn. I enjoy it. Languages have like English has already like always been like a favorite of mine. Um, and languages, different languages have always fascinated me. So I think like Duolingo is an amazing, like beautiful, gorgeous, just creation because you know I wish there were more languages on it. I know even all these years that Duolingo has been around, I still wish there were more languages for English speakers to learn. But yeah, it's still with the options that are there. It's amazing. Like honestly, it's amazing. Um, if it helps, I can share some of the words, phrases, as you said you have Irish in your past. And yes, there's Scottish Gaelic. Oh no no no! You said that you have Irish. And um, I mean, no, I said my an aunt and uncle of mine had they live in Ireland, but they're Polish. I mean, it's very possible that we have a Celtic bloodline in way down the line. Um, but yeah, I mean, you never know. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I'm excited to learn a lot more. And and just I look forward to what's coming next, and it's a nice feeling to be able to be excited about what's next. Yeah. Um, I have to go. Um, I have to help with some things. So, I love you guys. I will see you on Wednesday. And, maybe at the same time. I don't know. Girl, what was that? I don't know what I'm saying. All I heard was whatever. Anyway, so yeah. So I'll see you on Wednesday. Love ya. And I'm excited to be continuing with all of this. It's beautiful. Mwah. And yeah, I'll see you next time. And I hope everything's well. I hope everything is well with you guys, and I hope that y'all stay happy, healthy, and just